If you want an easier way to get in and out of your 2009 to 2018 Crew Cab Ram 1500, these Sidewinder running boards will be a great option to take a look at. Now, these will be a good choice for your Ram if you and your passengers are having a tough time hopping up into their seat, especially if you've got kids, and even more so if you have a lift kit or a leveling kit installed. Now, these will offer a good amount of drop, making getting in a lot more accessible, but also filling up that wheel-to-wheel space for a finished appearance to the side and giving you good protection to your rocker area if you're looking for multiple benefits out of one step. Now, that protection will be great day to day, but also if you take your Ram onto the dirt, whether that's the work site, fire trails, or camping, and want to make sure that your truck stays in good condition, this set will do just that. These will feature a large pentagonal bar up at the top that will give this set a completed and tough appearance of a rock rail to hide that pinch weld area, and of course provide the protection that you need for door dings in the parking lot or kick up from smaller obstacles off or even on road. Now, attached to it are the star of the show here, which are the drop step, offering you that much needed assistance of getting in and out of your Ram. Now, the step will be roughly 5 inches wide to offer a good amount of space underneath your foot for you and your passengers, and will feature finned cutouts for some extra traction and a bit of extra styling. I do want to mention that these will not be the most high clearance option for a side step just because they do have that drop, but if you're not doing any major off-roading, which most of you won't be, then these will do just fine when it comes to off-roading or lighter off-roading scenarios. These will be made of a tough steel construction, being able to take a hit whenever it's needed, and the ability to support up to 500 pounds. Now, on top of that, this will have a texture black powder coat finish, offering a rust protection to the steel underneath and offering that heavy-duty appeal to the side of your Ram. Now, this kit will also be completely bolt-on, so no need for modifications, and will come with everything that you need out of the box to get these onto your truck. These will come in at about $400, which for a drop step is going to be right in the middle when it comes to price. What I like about this kit though is that this is going to have that angular and boxy construction, setting it apart from other tubular options, and the fact that this is going to have a very large 5-inch wide step if you want some more support and some of the most support that you can get out of a step. Now, in addition, the well-fitting upper bar here creates that premium appearance, making these a great option if you want a good looking and well-functioning drop step for your Ram 1500. Installing these will be a lighter 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. At this point though, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown step by step on how to get these onto your Ram at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you'll need for this project are a 3/8 ratchet, a short extension, a 10 and a 13 millimeter socket, and a 10 and 13 millimeter wrench. Hi everyone, today we're installing a set of side steps on our Ram, so let's get started. Now, before we get started with the actual install here, there's a couple things we need to note. One is the brackets that I'm holding here and the support brackets that go onto these and the side steps themselves are side specific. So you have a driver's side and a passenger side. Driver's side, which is what we'll be showing you right here, their large brackets here all have an A stamped in them. The A is for the driver's side, a B is for the passenger side. Now, to install these, the A brackets, we're going to put 2 A brackets, one in the front and one in the center, and then we're going to use one of the B brackets to go for the rear. Now, on the passenger side, it's going to be the opposite. You're going to have 2 B brackets in the front and center, and an A bracket for the rear. So you want to probably lay these out beforehand so that you don't get confused and get frustrated with things not fitting. So lay these out with 2 A brackets and a B bracket on one side, and then the 2 B brackets and an A bracket for the other side. Now, we also have the same situation with the smaller support brackets, but the support brackets are not stamped. But when the kit arrives, you will notice that there are 2 separate boxes of brackets in there. One box has the brackets for the driver's side, and they all have a green wrapper around the brackets. The passenger side has a clear wrapper around the brackets. So again, for the driver's side, we're going to need 2 of the ones that have the green wrapper and 1 that has the clear wrapper. And this is going to be for the rear support bracket. Now, some of the vehicles from like 09 to 13 or 14 will not have threaded inserts into the bottom of the truck in order to attach the brackets to. So you're going to use these mounting plates. And you'll notice that it does have a bolt welded on and also a nut. So in order to be able to put the brackets onto these plates, what you're going to do is thread one of the bolts into the nut, like so. And then there's a slotted hole on the inner rocker panel that you're going to use to slip this through, and then the bolt will go through a hole that's already pre-drilled. So what you'll do is you'll slide this in through the slotted hole, put the threaded bolt through that hole, and then use one of these plastic retainers, screw it on to the bolt like so, until it's flush against the panel of the truck. Once you've got that done, you can go ahead and remove the bolt that you put in the top, and then use the welded on bolt to maneuver the threaded plate down to the second hole, and then go ahead and insert your bolt there, along with your flat washer and your lock washer to hold it in place. So once you've got that done, then we can go ahead and attach the brackets. Now I'll show you this underneath once we get there, but I just figured it would be easier to show you now before we get underneath and visibility is a little low. So let's go ahead and get started and get these brackets installed. Now here's one of the slots that you'll have to be using if you're going to be using one of these mounting plates. There are several of these slots along the inner rocker here, but the ones that you'll be concentrating on are the ones that have 2 holes underneath it. Now normally there's also a plastic covering over these slotted holes, like this one right here. What you're going to do is just peel that off so that you'll have access to that hole. And then, like I said earlier, if you don't have the threaded inserts, which we do on ours, what you do is put your bolt into the nut on the mounting plate, and then slide the bolt that's welded on through the slot and work it down until it can feed into one of these holes. Once you've got that fed through, what you're going to want to do then is go ahead and put your plastic retainer over the bolt to hold it in, and then you can start to attach your bracket to the bolt, and then remove the one on top that you screwed in, and then use this bolt to maneuver the plate back over this other hole, and then put a bolt in there. So, like I said, since we don't have to worry about that, we're just going to go ahead and get our brackets mounted. So in order to mount it, you're going to put your bracket up there. You're going to have one of your 8mm by 30mm bolts with a flat washer and a lock washer, and go ahead and just put that in like so. Now you don't want to tighten these down until everything is actually attached to it and you've got the side steps on there so that you can level it and make sure that it fits the correct way you want to. So we're just going to put our screws in loosely right now so that we can adjust it as needed to make everything fit properly. Now, like I said, on the driver's side, the front and the center, which is what we have right here, are the same brackets, so you can do the same process for the front bracket, and then we'll show you how to do the rear bracket as well. Now you can see from our rear bracket why we have to use the different format of the bracket, because there just isn't the clearance for the rear to be able to give this side step the proper support. if it was facing the other way. So we'll get this one installed. All right, now that we've got all 3 brackets on the driver's side installed, now we'll go ahead and attach the other brackets to these brackets that will actually support the side step. Now we can go ahead and attach our smaller support bracket, and it's going to attach to our pinch weld and to our main support bracket here. Now ours, as you can see in the pinch weld here, it already has some pre-drilled holes from the factory. You may not have that on your truck depending on the year. If you don't have it, don't worry about drilling the holes right at this point. I'll show you how to go ahead and attach the bracket first, and then we'll show you about drilling out these holes. So we're going to attach our bracket on the inside of the pinch weld up against the main support bracket, and then we're going to use a 6mm bolt with a flat washer to go through the pinch weld here. Slide our bracket on, and we'll use another flat washer on the other side, and then one of these supplied 6mm nylock nuts. So again, we're not going to worry about tightening anything down at this point. Until everything is actually attached to each other. All right, once we've got that in, if you, like I said, if you don't have the holes already pre-drilled, then what we're going to do is use one of the 8mm bolts and a couple of flat washers and another nylock nut on the end of that. And we're just going to go ahead and attach this bracket to the main support bracket like so. So we'll put one flat washer on one side of the bracket, one on the other, and then put your nylock nut on. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the center and the front brackets and get those attached, and then we'll go ahead and attach our side steps. Now that we've got our brackets installed on the truck, we can go ahead and install our side steps themselves. And like I said earlier, they are side specific. And if you look at the end of the step itself, you'll see that it has an 08-L, and the other one will have an 08-R. So L is for driver's side, R is for passenger side. You'll also notice that on the back of the steps, there's 3 holes with an insert that's threaded, as well as on the bottom. There's 3 of them. So they're going to line up with these 2 holes here on the bracket. And the kit also comes with these special bolts that have the washers already attached to them. These are the ones that you'll use to attach your side step to the actual bracket. Now, if you've got an extra pair of hands, that's great. Things will work out a little bit easier for you, but you can do this on your own. And I recommend starting from the center bracket to actually hold it up while you get the ones on the ends. So we'll go ahead and set this on the bracket. Line up the holes, and then we can insert our bolts, one from the bottom and then we'll insert the one from the back side. Now that'll hold it in place while you go ahead and insert the bolts for the front and the rear. All right, now that we've got our side step actually attached to our brackets now, we've checked our alignment to make sure that it's where we want it to be. Everything looks good, nice and level. Now it's time to go ahead and start tightening everything up. So the first thing we're going to do is use our 13mm socket, and we'll tighten up the bolts that hold the steps to the brackets themselves, since those are the ones that are non-adjustable. So let's go ahead and get those tightened up. Now we'll go ahead and tighten up our bottom bolt here and the one right above it using our 13mm socket. Now for this upper one here, you may find it easier to use an extension on your ratchet, or if you don't have one of those, Putting a wrench in here, you can reach it as well. And you can do that for the other two brackets as well. And once you've got all of these tightened up, then we'll go ahead and move up to the ones on the inner rocker panel. Again, using our 13mm socket. And you can repeat that process for the other two brackets as well. And now we're using our 10mm socket and a 10mm wrench. We'll get the two bolts on each bracket that are attached to the pinch weld. And repeat that process for the other two brackets as well. And finally, we'll get the last nut and bolt that connects our two brackets together. And for that, we'll use our 13mm socket and a 13mm wrench. And you can repeat that process for the other two brackets as well. And now that we've got one side completely installed, now we can go ahead and repeat this whole process for the other side. And that wraps up our review and install of the Sidewinder running boards for your 09 to 18 Ram 1500 Crew Cab. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.